Welcome to the Crewcast, the Crew's live podcast about video games and all things Crew. Join us and many of your favorite crew members as we review games, talk about the new Crew series, answer your questions, and much more. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this episode of the Crewcast.
Welcome to Crewcast episode 15 for the 24th of August 2013. Today we have Boz, myself, Extra, Gizmo and Piper. And let's get right to the news.
Alright, so big news in gaming going on right now, but I think yesterday and maybe the day before it was more for the press, but Gamescom. And a lot of people try to call it Gamescon and then get corrected, but it's Gamescom. Is in full force. It's in Germany. I'm not quite sure where in Germany. I don't...
Cologne.
Is it? Okay. So I think today was the first day for like non-press, non-business people, although some people were able to, I think, buy advance tickets and get in early. So lots of stuff being talked about, lots of games and everything. Obviously Sony PS4 probably had the biggest thing hit on this show. Probably the thing that they announced was obviously the PS4's release date. November 15th here in the States, November 29th in Europe. So earlier than I was expecting. The good thing for them is obviously the 15th. That means it's going to be in stores here before Black Friday. Before Thanksgiving, the big mad rush for shopping. So that's an important date to be in the stores before. I don't know if you guys have any real issues or like shopping dates that affect you guys, but like Black Friday here is a big thing.
Not really. We don't have Black Friday over here, but yeah, I mean, obviously November the 29th in Europe, it's just before Christmas. Like, parents are probably going to be thinking, what can I buy my child? The lucky ones will probably get a PS4.
And the unlucky ones will get a rock.
Or a lump coal.
All right.
Or if you're being good and orange, sorry.
Yeah, so we're going to hop around here a little bit. So let's do a little Xbox One news. Fable Legend was announced. Any Fable fans here, or anyone who kind of looked into this one in detail?
What? Yeah, okay. I'm quite a big Fable fan. I played the first one. I really like it. I haven't played the second or third, but I do intend to at some point. But it looked really good. The trailer seemed quite interesting. The gameplay actually footage that I saw, but the trailer itself sounded quite cool. With the kind of it kind of gave off a sort of Dungeons and Dragons type thing, where one person's going to be kind of the villain controlling the stuff, and the heroes are going to be fighting stuff. Interesting to see how that might be. It could be an interesting game for us to play, actually.
Yeah, I've been a huge fan of the Fable series since Fable 1, the Xbox came out. It definitely looks interesting. It definitely looks like it's something definitely new and definitely fresh to the series. Obviously, it's going to be a prequel to the first one, which I actually prefer having it. Yeah, it's going to be set 400 years before the first one, which is nice because I kind of do prefer the original, like good, bad, swords only type of scenario rather than the muskets and rifles that they put in. But I don't know. It's not Fable 4, but it's definitely something that I'll end up buying anyway.
Yeah, and that was one of the points that people were making. This is not Fable 4. This is totally different. So because some people are saying, "Oh, it's Fable 4." It's not Fable 4. I mean,
No.
I'm assuming that there will be a Fable 4 at some point, unless this is a flop, maybe. But it looks interesting, and I think it'll be interesting to see. But that was kind of an Xbox One announcement. Now, another announcement, which is a game that many of us are excited about, and another Ubisoft title. Last year we were kind of all excited about. Watch Dogs is not out yet. It's coming out very, very soon, but we were also very excited about The Division, which is a Tom Clancy game, but it's a squad-based game. It looked very interesting. I'm not sure about all the tablet integration and all that stuff. How useful that'll be, or if it's more of a gimmick.
Yeah.
But it looked really fun. We'll have to see more when people start getting a chance to actually play it and get some hands-on to see like if the combat is really as fun as it may look, or if it's kind of more of a combat on rails, scripted type thing. But it looked very good so far. But this is a very early title. But they just decided now, which we kind of expected, that it will come out for the PC because originally it was going to be console only, but there will be a PC port. So any thoughts on The Division?
Yes! Yes! There is a god! Oh! I just love that they're doing it on PC and they've kind of said they are, rather than, oh, we're just going to do it on PC. They've kind of said, yes, we are doing it on PC. They're listening to people.
It looks cool, and I would like to try it.
Yeah, it's definitely something that I'd like to give a try. I haven't played a Tom Clancy game since Splinter Cell 3, I think, for the Xbox. So I don't know how well the reception's been on his games like after that. But it definitely looks good. This is the first time I've heard of it, so I'll have to read up on the blog and see how it is.
All right, so let's move on to a little bit more Sony news. Minecraft will now be coming out for the PS3, the PS4, and the Vita. So,
oh my goodness.
Microsoft's contract, obviously, for having exclusivity with this has ended. So, this is not huge news for me because I'm not going to play it on the PS3 or the PS4. I have it on the Xbox, but I really don't like to play it that much on there. I think the Vita will be interesting for people who are having a Vita, but this is big news for people who don't have a good enough PC and have had a Sony console or are going to buy a PS4. You will be able to play Minecraft. Any thoughts on Minecraft for the PS3, 4, and Vita?
Yeah. It's good for people who haven't played it yet, but I'm not going to get it on anything if I do get these consoles. I like it on PC. I like the mods and stuff you can play with it. I like playing with people online. But yeah, it's good for people who haven't played it yet and people who can't play it on PC.
Yeah, I feel the same as Gears. Like, I prefer it on the PC to the Xbox, and like maybe it's not because I'm not used to a controller. I'm not sure, but it was difficult. But it's good for my future brother-in-law because he's got a PlayStation, and he actually messaged me on Facebook going, "Oh, Minecraft's on the PlayStation," so I think he might give it a try on the PlayStation rather than the PC.
What I think would be a killer move if Sony could pull this off, and I don't know if it would happen on the PS3, but the PS4 and the Xbox One are both very similar now to PC technology. I mean, they may be more advanced than a lot of the current PC stuff. Maybe not for people who have bought like super high-end gaming systems recently, but I mean, their PC architecture more than they were the cell processors that were used in the Xbox 360 and the PS3. So it seems like this would be easier to possibly get pure Minecraft on a PS4 or an Xbox One, to where you have the console up to date with the PC. If they could do that, say Sony can pull that off on the PS4, then possibly they could say, okay, look, we're going to allow the console version to play with the PC version. That would be huge if they could pull that off. I don't think they will.
That would be amazing.
I don't think they will because I think the problem is they're probably going to want to have the Minecraft be the same on the PS3 and the PS4 and the Vita. I think they'll pretty much mimic feature set, and I think if they mimic it to the similar like on the Xbox version and not the PC, because it might be harder to get the PC version to work on the PS3. So if it's a limited version, kind of like the Xbox is for the 360, it ain't gonna happen. But I think if they're smart, that's a great option to do. I mean, we need to see, I think, some of these console gamers being able to play with PC gamers. I hate the without a pun intended, the division between them.
Yeah, I completely agree with you.
So we'll have to see on that. Now, along the lines with the PS Vita, they dropped the price on the Vita $100, and they've dropped the memory card price 20%. So, is this a sign that there's going to be a new Vita? Because remember, they're really pushing the Vita hard right now, not only as a gaming platform, but also this is going to be your device if you have a PS4, that you can be playing your PS4 game and then nature calls, or you have to leave the room, you can actually take the screen will be then wirelessly sent to your Vita, and you can continue to play the PS4 game using your Vita as a remote controller.
Wow.
Am I the only
That's
person
crazy.
that just goes to the bathroom and just doesn't take anything with me except toilet paper?
Let's not talk about what you do in the toilet.
No, but I mean, like, people, they say, like, oh, you can take it to the bathroom or whatever. Like, I don't. What if you drop it in the toilet or something? It just broke then.
Save that one for Hardcore Crew.
Yeah. I mean, I think this is it's a nice idea. Now, Microsoft, just to kind of give a comparison, is planning in the same type of approach, but letting you use tablets and phones, not even if they're not Microsoft-based ones. So
Oh.
theoretically, iPads, Android tablets, powerful phones, be it Windows, iPhone, Android, will allow you to remote play. You can do that now with your PC. In fact, I might actually do a review of this software on our channel. There's an Android program, and I can't remember the name of it right now. It used to be on the top of my head, but I forgot it. But it lets you take control of your PC on your phone and game, or your tablet. Now, it would be better for a tablet, but there's a lot of people who said they enjoy, say, playing Diablo 3 on the PC, but using their tablet, and they can sit back and just relax and use the touch screen and stuff. So this type of approach is already being done now by companies, and I think some PS3 games allow you to do this already with the Vita, but it's I think just a very few. So I think the price drop is good. I think this is probably a sign that there's going to be a new Vita, because the one thing I hate, I'd buy the Vita right now. They have a Walking Dead version that's going to be out in a couple months that comes with the Walking Dead game with the Vita for $199. What I can't stand is the price of their memory cards. They're proprietary. This is the thing I hate about Sony, and I think this is why they're selling these at a discount now. I think they're going to come out with a new one. The memory cards are like $90 for a 32 gig card,
Whoa.
whereas you can buy like a 32 gigabyte SD card, little micro SD, for like $20.
Crazy.
So they've dropped the price 20%, which makes it a little bit more tolerable. But their memory cards are proprietary and they're expensive, and I think consumers should not buy things because of that reason. And I'm hoping Sony's going to change it. But the Vita is a very nice little device. The screen on it's nice. It's got actual controller buttons and things, so you're not all just touch screen stuff, which I think touch screens are great, but they don't. That's the thing I hate about my phone is you get some of those games like Minecraft. You have to use your fingers on the screen to move around and do things, so your fingers are already blocking some of the screen.
Yeah.
So, I think the Vita is a very nice device. I think obviously the Nintendo has kind of the lead right now when it comes to portables, but I think the Vita is a cool device. I think the price drop's good, but I think this might be a sign of a new Vita coming out eventually. And if you have PlayStation Plus subscriptions, you can get so many games for the Vita. I think I've got like 20 games for a Vita, and I don't even own one. So Sony does a lot of cool stuff with their PS Plus. They give out some really good games for the PS3 and for the Vita and the PSP. For some of you who have the older portable. All right, let's move on. What do you want to say?
I was just going to say, was it Splashtop, that app?
Yes.
Yeah, I googled it.
They have a gamer's version. It's like, I think, $6 to $10 US. I think it's on sale right now. They have a free version that will pretty much do the same thing. If you have an NVIDIA chipset, you can play full screen games with the software. If you don't have an NVIDIA or you don't have a supported NVIDIA, you have to play the game windowed on your PC, and then you can play it on your, using your tablet or your phone as an interface. So, but like I said, I plan on maybe looking into Splashtop and maybe showing it.
Yeah.
All right, so Piper, this one excites you. This is a game series that I absolutely hate because of all the DLC that they do for it. I think it's a money grab. But they've showed some Sims 4 gameplay. What did you think, and what do you have to say?
Absolutely loved it, because I wasn't really a fan of Sims 3. And I get what you say about it being a money grab and stuff, and I completely agree with that. But I love the game, and I have spent money on some of the add-ons. Some of them I don't like and I didn't buy, but some of them I do. But anyway, Sims 4, it looks really cool. The building, I mean, Extra can jump into because I know he's a big Sims fan, but the building aspect, they've changed it completely. So it looks so much simpler to actually make a house and like extend your house, and you can click and drag like rooms and move them to different parts, and it just looks so much better than what they had before. And like the whole, create a sim bit where you've got the sim and you're, trying to make their body shape the same as yours and trying to make you in the game and stuff. And it just looks so much easier and user friendly. And yeah, I'm really excited.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a really good game. I think it's nice to see that they are like stepping back and going back into like the Sims 2 way of doing things. Only
Yes.
they've given it a lot more ease of use. Like the snapping feature is really good. I think anybody who played the original Sims 1 or Sims 2 will remember the fact that if you grab a table, you can grab the chairs as well. And that's
Yes.
basically what they've done, but they've done it with the entire room, which is going to make it so much easier and so much better. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that coming out.
I'm actually quite a big Sims fan myself as well. I probably put like 200 hours into the first and second one as a kid. I missed out on 3. I kind of heard bad things of it, so I kind of skipped out on it. The Sims 4 thing, it looks pretty good. The trailer was a bit weird with the changing the size of the nose thing. That was a bit creepy. But it looks quite good. Yeah.
Noses.
I might play it. I really do agree with the whole DLC thing. I just think it's ridiculous. I mean, I know 2 had quite a bit of DLC, but I mean, it was decent DLC, and it was like a while in between each one, whereas 3 kind of feels like buy this, buy this, buy this, buy this, buy this. So I hope with 4 it's more when there's DLC, it's actually quite a bit, and it's actually quite worthwhile, and not like every other week or so.
All right, well, let's move on. Diablo 3 expansion was previewed, The Reaper of Souls. Now, I think Extra and I are probably the biggest Diablo fans. I mean, Diablo is my absolute favorite series. Started playing Diablo 1 when it first came out. Loved it. Loved Diablo 2. Played Diablo 3. Enjoyed it. I don't have all the hate that most people have for Diablo. I think it was just fun. I don't care about the auction house. I don't care about that garbage that all the hate comes across on. So I'm excited about just being able to play the expansion. Just to be able to they have the new class. I think you can level higher and everything. So I'm excited about it, but I don't know what you think, Extra.
I'm surprised, to be honest. I'm surprised the DLC came out. It really didn't sell very well, but I did enjoy it. Like, I've put about 600 hours into that game. Like, that is one of the only games, like online multiplayer games, that I've really, got into and tried to perfect everything. So it's like, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what they do, but I think it's a bit too little too late as far as bringing back, I think, the hardcore Diablo fans from back in Diablo 1.
I think on that point, too late, whatever. Me and Piper have kind of not played it properly. We kind of played a trailer of it, and we were talking about playing it as like a group. So maybe now is a good time to jump back into it. I mean, I watched a trailer and it looked very good. Like, I had no idea what was going on, but it looked really cool.
Well, Blizzard, I think, are kings of trailers and kings of cinematics. They put a lot of time and money into their cinematics, so they always look amazing. I disagree that it hasn't sold well. I think it has sold well. It hasn't sold maybe as big as what people expected, but a lot of people are playing it and do play it, and that's one of the reasons why there is going to be, I think, an expansion. But like I said, if you like the Diablo game series, I think it's pure Diablo. A lot of the hardcore fans, I think, were very upset with the auction house. I think that's a hard thing to manage in this type of game anyway, and to be fair about it. And it took Diablo 2 a little bit of time to get balanced in patches, and Diablo 3 has had a decent amount of patches to it, so they've worked on trying to address things. So the last Gamescom thing that we're going to talk about, DayZ Standalone, was playable, and it's playable right now, although I think the show might be over for the day today. But they had a 14-person multiplayer setup at the show so people could come and play. There's been some videos on YouTube and other places where people have either shown their gameplay that they filmed or interviewed and Dean or Matt and shown some of the footage that they talked about and went step through. But what did you guys think about DayZ Standalone from Gamescom, the footage?
It looked okay. It wasn't terrible. Zombies weren't really shown too much in the one video that I saw. Yeah. We know he's working on the game. It'll be ready. It'll be ready when it's ready, right? Right?
Well, go ahead, Extra.
I watched it and I was kind of skeptical about the DayZ Standalone when it first came out, and it looks. Well, I say it came out, the first trailers and stuff, but it does look okay. It's definitely not like the whoa, how amazing is this that I think a lot of people were expecting it to be. But it looks okay. It's no longer like as real. It doesn't seem, or at least from what I've saw, it doesn't seem as realistic as obviously the mod did. But obviously that was using the Arma 2 engine, so it was more like a simulator kind of thing rather than anything else. But hopefully they can bring back like the realism and like the immersiveness, because that didn't look like it would have been very immersive.
My thoughts on the standalone. I mean, it looks a little better than what it did the last preview we saw, but I'll be honest, it's the interface, the user interface looks better, but it looks like a placeholder. It's like they haven't even finished it yet. I mean, it's real generic looking. Whereas like we've seen some screenshots of the new DayZ mod user interface. It may not be as good. I mean, because I don't think it won't have attachments, and it'll still try to be under all the constrictions that you have with Arma 2. But it looked more polished graphically. Whereas this looks like a decent inventory system, but just not polished. The little text messages over on the left popping up all that information, not a fan
I'm not either.
that either. I want icons with status indicators. I like that better. Plus, it eats up. I don't want that information because when you're on a server with people typing and chatting, all the messages that are important to my character are going to be mixed in with all that. Don't like it. Don't want it. Zombie animation doesn't look that good yet. I mean, the movement. He's already talking about redoing that completely, which I think at this point, it's tough. On the plus side, I mean, I think we're getting close to release, but I don't think we're going to be like floored with this release. I think he's losing support from the hardcore fans. They want it. They want it now. They want it a month ago, 6 months ago. Some of them are getting disenfranchised and kind of walking away. And what he said in reports is that's kind of what he wants, because he doesn't, he's just like, well, if we just get, a decent number of people who want to play it, we'll break even, we'll make money. I don't like that approach. I think that's a bad attitude. I mean, yeah, it's not a polished game, and when it comes out, it's not going to be polished. It's going to be an alpha. But man, look at like Arma 3 alpha. God, it looks so much nicer. So much more polished, so much more beautiful. Granted, it's had more development time on it, but it seems like Bohemia is putting a lot of people on Arma 3, and that Dean has a very small group. Right now, the only thing supposedly stopping us from playing the standalone alpha is the network bubble. And if you've heard that term and you're like, what does he mean by the network bubble? What that means is the way the server is going to work in the future when you play DayZ, you're only going to get information sent to you related to where you are in the game, kind of the bubble around your player. The current game, when we play it, you get messages for everything, no matter where players are on the map. Your client's receiving information about gunshots in Starry, and if you're in Kamenka. You may not hear those shots, obviously, because it'll say, oh, you're too far away to hear it. But you're receiving information about everything that goes on the entire map. And you don't need to. So they're trying to refine the networking so it's more about things that happen for you in the bubble you're in. Now, obviously, there's some things that would be sent regardless, like broadcast messages, things of that nature. So they're trying to improve the networking by minimizing everything that's sent. So great idea. huge. Once that's working, they say alpha's coming out, even with the buggy interface, even with the buggy zombies. So people need to be prepared that when alpha does hit, we may not be happy with some of the parts of it yet. And those things are things that will improve over time. But, who knows? This network bubble issue could take longer that everything else will get polished. But I think what we're going to see in about a month or two, the bubble's going to be stabilized, and we're going to be playing it.
I'm not going to lie, every time I hear network bubble, all I can hear is Dr. Evil from Austin Powers, saying, network bubble.
I think of the bubble boy. So.
No. Oh, the movie's so good.
So, I'm excited about Standalone, but, I'm not excited about what I've seen hasn't floored me. It's like, but I do have faith that Rocket is a decent guy, and he has the game in its best interest versus publishers or anything like that.
Yeah.
But just get it done, Rocket. Get it done.
Do it.
We'll send Giz to help if it'll make things better for you.
Oh, I could be one of those people who wears those suits, jumps around and stuff like a zombie.
Yeah, you want to be one of the motion capture people?
I can borrow Danny's morph suit thingy called.
Well, let's move on before we go way off into crazy tangents. And let's move on to crew news. Now, Piper, you have the first thing to talk about.
During our 24-hour live stream, we had a build contest, and me and Giz filmed the video that went up this week of the winners, which were announced. We spent ages looking at all the different builds. It was over in at least 2 hours for me. I don't know what everybody else did, but
yeah, same.
We all picked our favourites. We all discussed and rallied for different builds, and I think it was, and I'm going to get this wrong, third place was Izzy with Crash Bandicoot. Second place was Fez Level 1 by Helen. And first place was Kerbal Space Program Little Dude Man by Resender. So yeah, we want to thank everybody for building, because it was amazing just looking at all these different things that you guys have built.
And I will say the three winners, I have been in contact with them, and as of today, all three have received their prizes. They were able to pick a Steam game. Each of them could pick a Steam game, $50 or under. They all made their picks, and all of them have their new games.
Ah,
Ooh.
Yay.
I'd like to point out as well, we did this voting on the things completely fairly. We didn't look at the names beforehand or anything. We just looked at the build, the skills involved, and the creativity of the builds themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had no idea who any of the people were. I just went around and looked at the builds, and then was like, oh, this one's good. This is my top 5 or so. And then as we started discussing them and we weeded them down, that's when we kind of figured out, oh, this was built by blah, blah, and blah.
Yeah, I think our two core things that we strive for are originality and fairness in everything we do.
And we did not allow friends of the crew to be part of it. I mean, they could build, but if we saw a build that was theirs, they weren't eligible. So we wanted to keep it to people who aren't, either in friends of the crew, and obviously the crew also. But lots of great builds. So, but anyway, something else, another subject now, something that we've just finished up and on the channel, Giz is going to talk about.
So we just finished airing the last part of our first survival games in Arma. It's a great series. I highly recommend you guys going to watch it. If you don't know what survival games is, it's pretty much Hunger Games. I'm sure most of you know what that is. So it's in Arma, which is the game that DayZ is, but it's not DayZ. There are actually DayZ survival games that people do, but we wanted to do it just in Arma. And there's teams of 2. There was about 10 or so teams. How many teams was there? 6 teams. 6 teams. There were 6 teams of 2 people each. And as soon as we started, we were in our own Mumble channels. We recorded, so it switches views and stuff. And the video is really good. I think it's probably one of the
Yeah,
best.
it's good stuff.
It's
Yeah.
really, I mean, playing it was really intense. We won't say which team won, but I highly recommend you guys going to watch it.
I agree. Definitely one of the best series we've ever done.
And
Absolutely loved watching it.
I think I can safely say we're doing another one, right, Buzz?
Yeah,
Yes,
I've already
yes,
started.
yes.
I've already started working on the next map,
Oh, yes.
or I should say the next mission. But yeah, I do want to stress that I know some of you out there, especially some of our younger fans, they like just Minecraft stuff, and they want us to do like Hunger Games and survival games in Minecraft. But if you are a fan of survival games or Hunger Games, I really encourage you, go ahead and just watch what we did in Arma, because really a game like Arma fits this type of battle and this type of situation very well. And when you listen to the people playing, you get to hear all the different strategies for these teams. You get to see situations where teams are encountering each other, but they don't even know it yet, or teams that maybe got the drop on another team. It worked very well. I was really scared about how well it would play out, but when we did it, it went through very well, and I thought, okay, this will probably make a decent video. And then just editing it, I was just like, this really worked out well, having all the other footage and just getting to hear the teams talking. So I really encourage you, even if you don't like Arma, even if you don't like DayZ or any of that type of stuff, or first-person shooters, if you like survival games and Hunger Games and Minecraft or any of that type of stuff, check it out.
Yeah, and Boz did all of the setup for it as well, so thanks to Boz for that.
And all the editing.
And all the
Yeah.
editing, of course, but I meant setup for it.
A lot of work in general.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I just loved the end, the tension of the music and everything. It was just so brilliant. Yeah. Give me goosebumps.
I'm not a big fan of putting a lot of background music in, because sometimes I think it ruins things. And I tried it on some of our videos, and I think for the most part people don't like it. But I thought when we got down to the very end, and I'm not going to say who was in the very end or anything like that. We want you to watch it. Don't read the comments, especially in the last episode of the 3, because you may get spoiled. So I would recommend watching it and go full screen or minimize or move it around so you don't see comments. That's a dilemma we always have with some things. It's like, do we leave comments in? Do we turn off comments? Do we approve comments? You're always going to have people who come to something later in the game. Maybe a fan that signs up or subscribes to us and starts to follow us a month from now goes and watches that. People are going to be talking about who won or who lost, or in the case of the mole, who's the mole. So it's a tough thing. Do you turn off comments? Do you not? I don't really like turning off comments, and I don't like really approving them either, because it's just so much time and effort. So just be careful, but it really went well, and we will definitely be doing another one. I don't think we're going to do it in DayZ. I think it works better, at least for now, to not do it with zombies, because zombies are so glitchy.
Yeah.
There's enough glitches anyway that can get. I mean, if people watch the DayZ survival games, which just went on, I think last weekend, one guy was killed. He wasn't killed, but his legs were broken. He was knocked out by a gate. And then he was killed by people who come up while he was unconscious. There was another 2 guys that were killed by glitch of surrounding a helicopter crash with rubble. So there's glitches already in Arma that can kill you. So adding zombies and their glitchiness and the fact that that they zigzag and they're hard to hit, I just think we might do it someday, but I think Arma it works best in.
Yeah, it's weird as well, because I was kind of trying to fight to have zombies in. I think it works so much better without them, and it's much more Hunger Games-esque without them.
Yeah.
It's just the players.
So check it out if you haven't, and we'll definitely be doing it again. In a different area, it may be a different map totally. Instead of Chernarus, it may just be a different part of Chernarus. I'm not telling any of the players yet. So our last crew news segment, Piper has this one also.
We're going to start a new video series, and it's going to be Mario who's running it. It's basically for artwork that people have submitted to us, and we are opening up submissions later on this week. It's all on our forum, so if you want to check out, we've got in the fan art section. thread there with some information on there, so you can ask questions if you're curious or whatever about it. But basically, we really appreciate what people do for us, like with their artwork, and we get some really cool stuff, and we want to show it off to the world. So we came up with this new series, or I should say, Mary came up with this new series, and yeah, it's going to be really good. So we need those submissions. So get drawing, get painting, do whatever you do on the computer that makes it look so cool, and be ready to submit it to us.
Now, some people have already submitted stuff. I've already started getting like links to stuff from people on like Steam. But we want you to use the form, and hopefully the form's ready by the time this podcast goes up, and I can put a link in the description here. But one of the reasons for the submission is in order to show your artwork on YouTube, we need your permission. And one of the things, just because YouTube does kind of make things a little sticky when it comes to using other people's work, one of the things that a form will say is, that you agree to allow us to use this artwork in our video, maybe on our webpage, maybe on a live stream, and maybe even we'll try to put it on like a t-shirt or a mug, depending on what we do. So we want to get your permission first. If we go as far, at some point here, I'm going to put up a video asking for people to help us design a Crew Gaming logo. For something like that, which will be something that we might actually use like on a t-shirt or on different things, we'll probably, if we would pick your artwork for something like that, we'll get you a t-shirt, something, out of that. And also, if we do set up a website to allow you to like get a Crew t-shirt, because I know people have asked for it, or merchandise, we are not going to mark up the stuff. We're just going to, whatever the website is that we use, we'll just set it to basically be the price that the company that makes them sells them for. I can't remember the name of the one site that everybody uses now. I think all this YouTubers and streamers for merchandise, like t-shirts and things, will probably use them. I can't remember their name, but we're not going to mark it up.
Spreadshirt or something.
Yeah, Spreadshirt.
Yeah.
But we're not going to mark it up because honestly, it's not like we're going to sell a whole bunch of these things if we would set up stuff like that. So it's just not worth it. If we can make it where if it's a $15 t-shirt, we're not going to sell it for $20, so we make $5. If it's cost $15, that's what we'll have the place sell it for. So look in coming days. Hopefully I'll be able to put a link in this description. If not, we'll probably put up a video or something talking about the submission form and all that. Let's talk deals of the week. Humble Origin Bundle is still going on. I think it's got, maybe somebody has this up, another 6 days or so to go. Yeah, so if you haven't got it, lots of great games. We talked about it last week, but I mean, you can get, I think, was it Dead Space 1 and Dead Space 3, Battlefield 3, Sims Starter Pack, which has got a lot of Sims related stuff in it.
Medal of Honor, Mirror's Edge. They just added 2 titles to it, and one of them was Populous, which is an old school, one of the first God games out there. This goes back even before, I heard Gizmo say played it on the PlayStation. It goes much back further even than that. Populous was, I think, first done on the Atari ST and the Amiga. So, one of the first God games. Very dated graphically, so, be prepared. It's not like, current gen title. But they also added Command and Conquer, Red Alert, what was it called? The Uprising.
Yeah, with Uprising.
So if you bought the Humble Bundle last week or up to whatever now, you can get these games included. It should be in your bundle. You can just go back to the your Humble Bundle page and you should see these games. You can add them either through Steam in the case of Command and Conquer or Origin in the case of Command and Conquer and the Populous. Plus all the other games are either Steam or Origin.
Awesome.
Also, on Steam, we have 2 things. Don't Starve, 50% off, and the Witcher series is 75% off. So Don't Starve, you've probably seen Giz playing it on the channel. Great game. And then, of course, the Witcher series, which is a mature game, so check with your parents. Very good series, 75% off. Highly recommend it. I think there was some talk about the new Witcher. Was it Witcher 3 at the Gamescom? But we didn't really touch on it. All right, so our last segment, your questions. Now, if you haven't sent us any questions, the description of the video has a link to the forum. You can send us a text question. You can do it as an audio file. You can do it as a video. Link in the description or in the forum. You can link to the video or audio. If you put your video on YouTube, make it unlisted. Don't make it private. If you make it private, then we can't see it. But make it unlisted. That way, not everybody will see it. But you can send us a link then so we can watch it. And we'll put your video or audio question in the podcast. But today we don't have any questions that are done in audio or video.
Aww.
First question we have is from Hunter. And Hunter asks, what is the crew members' first episodes they were in? So, first episodes you guys are in. I'll answer very easily. For me, it was our first episode. Because that's how I started the channel with Lizzie and Paige. But what are you guys? Your first video?
I think my technical first video when I first speak, wasn't it the Netherdome one?
Probably.
With Pup and Extra, was that you as well?
It
was someone.
Talking video. It was.
Yeah, it was me, you, and Pup, wasn't it? And we were showing off our Netherdome.
Yes,
I believe.
Yeah,
but there was
that's right.
But a video I was in before was showing off the open server thing that I was in. The first open server thing I was in, I think. And I was just running around until you can see me. You can't
That
hear
farm.
me. Lol. The farm. Thank you whoever griefed me, because if you didn't grief me, I wouldn't be here today. I wouldn't have spent hours working on it again. Boz wouldn't have come over and helped me build it. All the server wouldn't have come together and helped build it, and I wouldn't be here today. So thank you,
Hashtag
Griefer.
griefing made you famous.
Thank you, Griefer.
What about you, Piper?
I always remember my first one because I didn't want to be on voice. I didn't want to be on like a video. I just wanted to play with people. And I remember being there and being so nervous and like, loading up Mumble and having my headset. And the first one I was in was the one where we showed off the heads. We all built heads for the girls and showed them off. And I think I might have said like one thing in that video because I was so scared. And look at me now, you can't shut me up.
I know, right?
Sarah, what about you?
The first video I was in was one of the first build contests that was actually posted on our channel, and I remember the theme was cartoon characters, and I was on Mumble and with everybody, and everyone was so nice to me, and I was really nervous, and like Piper, I didn't really want to speak, so I spent most of my time typing in chat while I was trying to build, until I realised that people actually wanted me to speak. So I started talking, and then all of a sudden I felt really relaxed and felt like I wanted to be surrounded by everybody, and I felt really welcomed.
Oh. Now, Extra, I think you pretty much answered the same as Giz, or was I wrong?
The first video where I wasn't actually talking was the open server video. I think my first talking video, I believe, was, I don't know if it was the heads. No, it wasn't. It was the same as Gizmo. It was a never done tournament. But I do remember us talking straight after the heads recording when it was about 11 PM. I think it was the first time we actually talked as a group.
I thought Netherdome was before the heads.
Was it?
No.
Then mine must be the heads then. I'm convinced mine is Netherdome. The first thing we spoke on. Well, the first recording was Netherdome at least, unless it aired differently.
Alright, so let's move on to our next question. This is from L. Bob Jr. So the Bob Jr. wants to know, what are your most embarrassing moments? Now, I don't know if L. Bob's talking real life or like focused more on what we do. Alright, so besides this embarrassing moment, as Sarah's pointed out, Piper, anything you want to add to this?
Nope.
I think we have
No.
people may have heard of the video that shall not. People should have
that
heard
one.
of the video that should not be aired, and I'm really hoping it airs for the 1,000th video. That would be amazing if it does.
Yeah.
Maybe Boss is holding it for the 2,000th video. I don't know.
Oh,
But
I
the
still
video,
want to air it again on the live stream, the intro. But yes, that was our most embarrassing recording we've ever made.
Oh, that was terrible.
An idea
Like,
that should have been great, but we weren't ready to pull it off. I don't know if we still
No.
are.
We were all
I
too
think we
timid.
are. No,
Yeah.
I think we are. Like, I feel really bad because like that one day I was really pumped to do it. I just couldn't talk at all on my microphone, and so I was like, hello, hello, hello.
I think I was cringing for every word that I had
But
to
I
say.
think-
I was just like,
I think if we do it again, like, I think it will be much better. I mean, it was 2 years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah, I
We'd
don't
only
know.
been.
yeah.
I don't
It
know
was
who we
only-
would say the stars that would be. I want to think Lizzie did the best, and that
Probably,
might be
yeah.
scary.
Because we were all quite new to this, and
Yeah.
like we hadn't.
I think our inhibitions have all pretty much. Well,
But they were good.
Mine-
I don't think we were good actors, apart from Gizmo, obviously. But
I
I
think
know I'm not.
no, I think we're all pretty decent actors. I mean, you obviously are.
No.
Well, to me, you are.
Aww.
If
Only
you
because
start
you
singing
stabbed
that.
me in the back. I think
Yeah.
Buzz is quite a good actor, definitely a good voice actor.
Four score and 7 years ago.
Welcome to the Googcast episode.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, and the whole
So
mole.
I think
Yeah.
if we did it again, I think if we try and script it a bit more, I think it'd be better.
The only thing I'll say about that embarrassing video is I attempted to act like Strong Bad. That's all I'm going to say.
I was R2.
That was Thomas the Tank
Piper
Engine.
was Thomas the Tank Engine.
That
Piper,
was Bob
please.
the Builder.
Piper, I beg you, do it. Give me a choo choo.
Choo choo.
like,
even
like,
say
favorite,
that.
and subscribe for the choo choo,
He
guys.
doesn't even say it though. I don't know why I was doing that.
So, other than that, I mean, any other embarrassing moments that any of you guys want to relate?
Nope.
My scream when the creeper attacked me.
Oh, you're really high pitched scream.
Yeah.
Aww.
What else?
Mine would be the 404 Sucks video.
Oh.
Oh, dude,
Yeah.
that was just really funny.
I wasn't paying attention. I was making fun of Lizzie, and then boom, down I went. It's like, 404 Sucks.
It's like Lizzie goes, no, you do. It's like Lizzie. Sorry.
I think for me it was back at the Neverdome stuff. Just the fact that my mic was so mutey. It sounded like I have smoked a lot. I was always eating something. So every noise imaginable that you could hear was definitely there in full HD.
I think sometimes you made like a few.
Yeah.
noises.
My favorite extra noise was the door.
Oh.
No.
The mum.
That's amazing, but his mum, yeah.
The door and the mum together was amazing.
I would do an impression, but it says your name, so.
So, Sarah, any embarrassing moment for you?
One that I still remember is, I can't remember what it was, but we were getting ready to record something, and I was down in a mine just collecting some iron and coal or something, and I heard the noises of zombies, so I started getting really frantic, thinking there was a zombie right behind me, and then I thought there was one creeping up. So I turned around and started hitting my sword, and then I just heard Gizmo squeal at me because he was kind of trying to freak me out. And I literally screamed off mic, and everyone was like, "What's just happened?" Because all of a sudden I kind of killed Giz by accident.
At least you killed him. I think my favorite Piper moment was the vampire.
Oh my
Rose
God.
Quest.
Oh,
Yeah.
that was so embarrassing. Yeah. Do we have to tell the tale?
We don't have to if you don't want to, but
No,
I mean,
we
it was
tell
one
that
of our
tale.
top moments.
You told my tale, you tell your tale.
So we're like doing Mario's Quest of Hearts, or whichever one it was. I think it was Quest of Hearts, and like we got to go into this house and blow it up. So I go in there and Buzz is like filming it, so he's behind me shooting all of it, and like I'm to place the TNT down and set the TNT off. And this part of the story is that it's in the vampire's house, I think it was. So the vampire was in the bed sleeping, and so TNT, which killed the vampire. So I'm like, okay, so I'll place the TNT on top of the bed, not thinking that when I right click, I end up in bed with the vampire, and yeah,
Wasn't it a lady
hilarity
vampire?
ensued.
I don't believe it was a lady vampire.
It was a lady vampire for some reason.
Well, lady or man, it doesn't matter. It was embarrassing. And I thought, oh no, it's fine. Only Buzz has seen it, and it gets shown as an outtake.
Well, it was in our video, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, and it was in
Yeah.
the top
Right at the
moments of
end.
2011. Was it 2011 or 2012?
2011.
Yeah,
I think
embarrassing.
I think it's kind of embarrassing, but I think it turned out funny as well. Was in Skyblock. Is it the first episode? I think when I was teasing Piper, on the edge of the thing, so I was going, "Oh, I'm Piper," and I fell off the edge and died, and then spawned in lava.
I think
Oh
also
yeah.
another good one too would be Giz and Wolf together for Pyramid, trying to do
Oh,
the Mexican category, and Gizmo's like got no clue at all about anything Mexican, and Wolf is like frustrated with him, and it's just the answers and everything.
Yeah.
It was hilarious, but it was just funny. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily go embarrassing, but it was just kind of funny, that Giz had zero clue about that category, and just the answers were so funny.
burrito.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah, and well, that's a great way to end it. Let's be all embarrassed here. Thanks for all the questions. I mean, we get a lot now. Please, try to come up with newer questions. I mean, we don't want to repeat because we always get asked, "Are you going to play this game? How did the crew meet? What's your favorite video? What's your favorite color?" I mean, try to come up with some other questions because obviously, if we see questions that are unique, we're going to try to use them. And if you do them as an audio or a video question, that'll increase your chance. Just don't do an audio or video question asking what's our favorite color or whatever, because that's still not going to do it. But send your questions in, and we'll try to do a few each week. But with that, it's time to close episode 15 of the Crewcast. So if you guys want to say goodbye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Thanks for watching the Crewcast. We hope you tune in again next time. Compact.